How I came to the food bank was I moved to Washington because my son was hurt in Iraq, and I became homeless in the process, and I got an apartment finally, and I have my son's daughter, and I have to support her. I live on a very limited income, and someone told me about the food bank, and they helped me feed her. I come here 3 times a week, and without that I wouldn't be able to feed her, and I'm very grateful.
I was a career professional for 26 years at the local telephone company, and I was earning a very decent wage and $26 an hour. And I was ordered off work by my physician, and she wouldn't allow me to return to work. And so I applied for my benefits, and I was denied. And I found myself selling everything, and eventually I lost everything that I had worked very, very hard for. And I all of a sudden found that I had no resources. I had no income, and I realized that I was starving to death. I really literally was. I was terribly malnutritioned, and I found out about this Lutheran church through a friend, and since I have discovered it, I've been able to sustain myself, and I really shouldn't say it that way. I've been blessed. I really, truly have been blessed. The Lord's blessed me in showing me where this was and how I could be able to what's the word? Modestly, I can modestly keep sustained. And I wouldn't be able to do it if it wasn't for the help of this facility. The clothes that I'm wearing came from the generous donations from the people that are here. And this community is really a terrific place. And I am just so thankful for it. And I have been number 50 in line here, and there's been more people behind me than that. So I know I'm not the only one that relies on this, and we're very, very thankful.
Emergency Food Network, it's our responsibility to find the food that we distribute to 67 food banks, meal sites, and shelters in Pierce County. And it's a little like magic. We have a $2 million budget, and we're able to distribute about $21 million worth of food every year through the generosity of the citizens of Pierce County, farmers as far away as California, grocery stores. We sort of look under every rock to see what we can find to be able to provide nutritious, healthy ethnically diverse food to those residents in Pierce County who are finding it a challenge to feed themselves and their families.
You know, Fish Food Banks has a very simple mission statement, and it's basically providing food and more for individuals in need. You know, we're the largest organization of food banks in Pierce County, and we've been doing this really since the mid-70s. And we grew, and we grew out of Associated Ministries. We were one of their starter programs. And then in the mid-80s, about 1983, we formed our own 501c3 nonprofit organization. We have 8 food banks that are spread across Pierce County, and we like to think that we're located geographically so that people do not have to drive very far to access food. Every month we serve about 35,000 Pierce County residents through our 8 food banks. And we're able to do this because of the generosity of the faith community. We're co-located in churches. We've got support from the synagogue. We work with all faiths. We're primarily a volunteer-based organization. We have 8 staff members, paid staff members. 3 are full-time, the rest are part-time, and it really is the work of the volunteer that keeps Fish Food Banks going. We've got well over 650 volunteers, and actually last year we tallied up all of our volunteer hours and we had the equivalent of 40 full-time staff members just with volunteers. We are delighted that we've partnered with the Key Peninsula Lutheran Church. They've been doing a great job with their food bank, but we thought that we could help them do a little bit more. So we joined partners actually earlier this year. Wally Haggard and his volunteer crew they're just remarkable folks. And they really do serve folks with compassion, dignity, and respect, which is just what our mission statement says. And so we've been able to broaden what they do by providing more nutritious food and helping with some of the costs of the food that they purchase. And you know, believe it or not, we do purchase a lot of food. People think that the only food we get comes from grocery stores and donations. And yes, while most of it does, we will spend as an organization about $400,000 this year on purchasing food, just because we want to make sure that people do have nutritious food when they come to the food banks.
The Food Backpacks for Kids program is a program developed for the low-income people so that we can feed families over the weekend. We fill backpacks, take them to the schools, and the children take them home. And we look at it as a prevention of homelessness.
The church also serves as an emergency shelter in times of emergencies on the Key Peninsula. The last time we had an emergency was the big windstorm of 2006, when the lights were out and the electricity was off on the peninsula for 9 or 10 days. We got registered as a Red Cross shelter just 2 weeks before we had to open up and provide shelter for people. We keep a rotating supply of food that's enough to feed 100 people a day for 4 days. And we rotate that through the community meals program so that it's always fresh. We have cots and blankets, portable showers, everything we need to keep people comfortable for several days if need be.
In 1998, Key Peninsula Lutheran Church joined an ecumenical service group called Impact, offering free Sunday dinners each week per month down at a senior center. In 2001, Macaulay Hall was completed, included a commercial kitchen, but without any appliances or any needed equipment. And there was no funds to buy them. So it sat there. A chance encounter in 2005 with a neighbor who was representative of the Geneva Foundation brought a grant that allowed us to buy the appliances and to set up our kitchen. With the support of our congregation and a budget of $50, we began to supplement the Impact program with 2 breakfasts each month. At our first breakfast, we were excited to welcome in 18 guests. And now we serve between 90 and 100 guests at each breakfast.
At that point, the afternoon dinners at the community center were discontinued for the summer, and we thought, well, people like to eat in the summer, so we decided to add an afternoon meal to our already existing program of 2 breakfasts. The average number of meals that we serve every month at the community meals is 300. So the estimated number of meals in the past 7.5 years is 27,000 meals we've served to the community. This program is supported strictly by grants and personal donations, and EFN has jumped on board this past year, and they give us a quarterly donation of foodstuffs as well. From the beginning of this program, our goal was to provide nutritious, hot meals to all in need in such a way as to give the feeling that we were inviting them into our church home for a family meal. Guests are welcomed at the door and sit down at tables with flowers and tablecloths. Guests receive way more than food at these meals. They're provided a safe, warm, and caring environment with no financial restrictions nor age restrictions. And all are welcome. During the grant process, we are sometimes asked to obtain testimonials from our guests. And there's one that stands out in my mind as to speak the epitome of what we're trying to do here, and that is, there was a lady in Long Branch. We had a terrible storm the night before. All the power was out, and she drove in the dark here, dodging limbs and trees and electrical cords, and when she turned the corner, she saw that our lights were on. And she came in to the building and said to us with tears streaming down her face, I knew you would be here for me. And we were. And with the grace of God, we'll continue to be.